Hi, and welcome to Info 220, Intro the Data Set. We're going to be working with VLOOKUP again, but this time we're going to be using it for approximate values. We create a new column called acres, and in this case, we're going to look up the value for acres, which is going to be in H2. We have a named range called acres. We have the second column from the table, it's returning, and true, which means we're going to work with an approximate value. So just like we did earlier, we're going to go to tables. And in tables, we're going to create a new set called acres. So from E2, or anywhere you'd like to put it, you're going to type in 0, 0.5, and 1 in the first column, and then your groupings of 0.00, 0.49, 0.50 to 0.99, and greater than or equal to 1. This is going to be our table. We're going to highlight that table, define name, and call it acres. Now, when you create this, you're going to notice at the bottom, tables is going to be capitalized with an exclamation point. That means the sheet. And then the range. Now this has already been created, so if you notice we have acres here, and it shows that our table and our range, and so we can use that now in our function. So let's go back to property. Now in this case we're going to do a VLOOKUP again. I'm going to double click on VLOOKUP. And I notice that my acres are actually in H2. So I can click on H2 while the function is open, and it will put in H2. Remember, I use my name range of acres, and you notice this little box down here pops up, and it shows you the actual acres. You could double click on that if you wanted to, and it will fill in the named range. We want to return the second column, which was our groupings, and this time we are going to use true, which is an approximate match. When I hit enter, I get 0 to 0.49. How this works is it looks at the actual value of 0 up to 0.49. If it fits within that range, it will return this value. If the values fit between 0.5 to 0.99, then it will return this value, or if it's greater than or equal to 1, then it will return this value. So that's how you use a true, and it will also return those values. Is going to be capitalized. Hi, and welcome to Intro to Data Set. This is the Info 220 class. And then the range. We're going to be looking at horizontal this has already been created. In our previous lessons, we looked at vertical lookup. Well, the horizontal lookup uses rows instead of columns. And so we can use that now in our function. It's a very simple process. So let's go back to property. If we look at our existing sheet here, let's blow it up a little bit. In this case, here we have 7 rows. If I start counting here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I notice that my acres, what we want to do is take our value that's in H4 and return our value, and it will put in for the total sales on row 7. Remember, I use my name range of acres, and you notice this little box. First of all, we would start off with H lookup, and it shows you the actual acres. We have H4, which was our value that was right here. You can't see it right now, but it was quarter 3. We want to return the second column. We want to use our range from C3, which is here using quarter 1. And this time it is okay to include the headings because we are using rows instead of columns. So we go from C3 and we highlight down to F9. That's going to be our range. Up to 0.49. We also do not have to use absolutes because we will not be copying this formula. If the values fit between we want to pull row 7. Why then it will 7? Return this value. Remember, there were 7 rows. The total that we want to return happens to be on the 7th row. So that's why we choose 7. And then false. False is basically saying that we want an exact match. The exact match comes from the first row where we're looking at quarter 3. So when we return it, we get 1,065, which matches the total in quarter 3. And that's how you use an Hlookup using an exact match value of false.